From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
We don't believe you, cause we the people are still here in the rear, yo, we don't need you. You ain't a killing off good young mood. When we get hungry, we eat the same food, the ramen noodle. We simple voodoo, it's so maniacal, reliable to pull a juju. The irony is that this bad in my lab, she don't tell me she make money, she don't study that. She gon' give it to me, ain't gon' tell me.
It's the week of Friday, January 30th, 2016, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and this end of the year special best of episode is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. A lot of people want to start fresh for a new year and might be looking for a new job, but if you're someone who's hiring, how do you find the best candidates? With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to more than 100 top job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Plus, ZipRecruiter already has 9 million resumes you can search through in their database. ZipRecruiter is a search engine for finding and posting jobs. Right now, Relevant Podcast listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/relevant. Find out why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 1 million businesses already. That's ZipRecruiter.com/relevant. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/relevant. Well, like I said, I'm your host, Cameron. Here with me in our Orlando studio for our Best Of edition, our illustrious producer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, joining us today is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
We thought Best Of, we got to shed, all the riffraff from the cast.
I mean, if we're going to live up to the name, we might as well have the best of the cast.
Well, you're in for a special treat this week. What we like to do the last week of every year is look back at some of the highlights of what happened over the previous 51 episodes of Relevant Podcast. We've been doing this show now for over 11 years, and every year, I got to be honest, we think it's the best year. Hopefully that's true. But when we were putting this show together, I was kind of blown away by the caliber of the guests we had throughout the years. It's crazy some of the conversations and artists that have happened on this show.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to hear a lot today. Well, I should say that for people that are tuning in, this is, we're doing a little different in that we're featuring a lot of shorter bits of some of these great conversations, but even trying to cull down this into one episode is man, there's a lot to choose from this year. It was from, the thing is the spectrum was huge, not just, great music performances, but yeah, just some fascinating conversation with authors, actors, activists. It was a really fun year.
I think a fun game for the listeners would be to open up the iTunes feed or the archive over at our website and look at all 51 episodes where we list all the guests that have been on the show and then compare that list to the ones that made our best of episode so they can see who we think wasn't good enough for this recap.
Yeah, and those people, we are permanently severing our relationship. They are dead to us from 2017.
Hey, y'all can read between the lines. No, we're kidding. Everybody, we love everybody. But yeah, let's kick things off. What we're going to do is kind of like Jesse said. If you've heard previous best of episodes, there was kind of a familiarity to the format.
Flush them from your memory.
Yeah, this week is a little different. Jesse and I are going to be we're mixing it up a little bit, chopping it up a little bit. So you'll want to stay tuned. We're going to have some of the live performances that happened in our studio. We're going to have some of the interviews, but just short segments and stuff. This thing will keep moving, and let's kick it off. Back on our February 19th episode, we had Lecrae on the show. He had just released a new book called Unashamed, which told his story, which is crazy. He appeared on the cover of Relevant around that time, and it was mind-blowing, some of the stuff he told us about his past and how kind of his journey. And then out of nowhere, he dropped some mixtape, Church Clothes 3. It was the spring of Lecrae, I like to call it. I wrote it on my calendar.
It was almost a year, Lecrae. He just recorded an ESPN theme song. I mean, he's if anyone deserves to kick off a 2016 best of episode, I feel like it's fair to say it's Lecrae. He's had a good year.
We're renaming the podcast in 2017. It's Lecrae's World. We're all just living in it. So,
I'm excited about the rebranding.
it just rolls right off the tongue.
It's a bold choice. Yeah.
In the clip you're about to hear, Lecrae was talking to us about his political song "Freedom." He performed it on like Fallon, and it was getting a lot of buzz and even controversy. He also talked about the need to address important social issues, which he did a lot this year, even if it's uncomfortable for some audiences to hear. Here's Lecrae.
I think you have to be a fool to not feel like there's not racial tension, there's not Islamophobia and all these type of phobias existing right now. And I have a largely conservative fan base as well, so it's almost like, hey, guys, what's happening right now? So let's talk about this and let's put this stuff out here. And that was kind of artistically, sonically, it was almost like me saying, listen, this has to be spoken about.
Modestly, I'll be honest, I'm hanging on to that promise, cause honestly, I ain't really been everything that I oughta be on my Harriet, bury me next to Honest Abe. Here lies another man murdered for trying to free the slaves. I gave Chief Keef my number in New York this summer. I told him I could get you free, I'm on my net turner, back burner, cooking up a fat burger while we shucking jive to a song about a crack murder. No, we need.
Back in July, I also got the opportunity to talk to Chuck Klosterman, who is one of my all-time favorite authors. But this year, I think he released my favorite of his books that's called But What If We're Wrong? A lot of people may be familiar with Klosterman from his writing about pop culture and bands. He did some stuff for Grantland. But I think what stood out about this book and why we felt like this is the one where Relevant needs to talk to Chuck Klosterman is because he was tackling ideas that really had to do with like the nature of truth itself and how we come to believe what we believe. One of the things he talks about in the book is this idea that sometimes we only listen to the perspectives and opinions that confirm our own biases, and that can be really dangerous, especially if we want to expand our thinking on some issues.
One thing that has changed in the 20-some years that I've been in journalism is this amplified distrust of objective reporting, which when I started was the main goal of being a journalist, was to try to go that if you went into a story, maybe you had biases, but as a journalist, your job was to be aware of those biases and to compensate for them. And that even though it was impossible to be perfectly objective, the goal was to attempt to get close to that. And that has completely shifted in my life. I mean, people don't even want that now. Like, it's not that they'd want it if it was available. They don't want it. They want information that basically supports their pre-existing biases. And that really increases the likelihood of being wrong about something big. If you sort of make the conscious or unconscious decision that the only information you want to receive, that the only people you want to follow on Facebook and Twitter, and that the only television channels you want to watch are ones that seem to back up how you already feel, it's going to galvanize every thought you have, regardless of how inaccurate it may or may not be. I don't think that if you give people more information, their automatic reaction will be to take a more extreme, sort of less reasonable position.
Yeah.
However, if somebody is prone to doing that, if someone is just inherently prone to having a very inflexible position, and now you give them a limited amount of data that can be used to augment and support that position, they won't be forced to sort of consider anything else.
When we first started this podcast back in 2005, we thought it was just going to be people talking at a table. And then we had some artists come through our office, and instead of just interviewing them, we started to just toss out the idea of like, hey, could you play a song or bring a guitar with you? And we started even recording those. And then we thought, well, we should put those things on the podcast. And we just kind of fell into the fact that artists then would start coming to our studio and recording exclusive stripped down acoustic versions of their music for us, and has turned into one of my favorite things that we do. To hear an arena level artist like a David Crowder or a Hillsong United in our tiny little studio, reinterpreting their songs for this intimate format. Some of the music that we've been able to play over the last 5-8 years has just been phenomenal. And this year, the artists that we had come through might have been the best yet. Flurry broke out this year. She came through our studio and was on our January 8th episode. The song was from her EP Arrows, which was out then, and then her album Love and War, which came out this year. We named one of our favorite albums of the year. It was on the top 50 and on our top 10 albums countdown list. We're big Flurry fans. We're honored she came through. Here is Flurry performing Fire in My Bones.
Fire in my bones quakes, bending but it won't break, staging a revolting, quiet as it's jolting, singular in motion, fighting but I'm frozen, shaking and it's shifting, falling as I'm lifting, air you breathe, oh, start to see a bright light tunnel and a blue kite floating at the end. Summer melts into a snowscape, tell your heart to mend, wake me up and then speak. Power to protect me, don't let it affect me. Spirals like a staircase, racing like a car chase. Pulses push the limits, testing my resistance. Cameras that capture moments that enrapture. Don't let go, no, just lie low. A bright light tunnel and a blue kite floating at the end. Summer melts into a snowscape, tell your heart to mend, wake me up and then speak. A bright light tunnel and a blue kite floating at the end. Summer melts into a snowscape, tell your heart to mend, wake me up and then speak. No, if it feels right, if it feels right, if it feels right, it's probably wrong. If it feels right, if it feels right, if it feels right, it's probably wrong. Spinning out of control. Oh. Take it back, give me something to hold. Spinning out. A bright light tunnel and a blue kite floating at the end. Summer melts into a snowscape, tell your heart to mend, wake me up and then speak. A bright light tunnel and a blue kite floating at the end. Summer melts into a snowscape, tell your heart to mend, wake me up and then speak. Fire in my bones quakes.
So, Cameron, I remember back early in the year, there was a song that dropped. I might actually be in 2015, but it was a huge song, and it sort of was like foreshadowing of what we now recognize as maybe the top 3 best albums of the entire year. I'm talking about
Weight in Gold. It was a genre-defying moment. I thought it was a significant introduction to a new artist. And Gallant's album came out this year, Ology, and it didn't disappoint. It's almost like Weight in Gold set the expectations up too high for me personally. And the album still, with songs like Bourbon and others, really delivered. He's a alt R&B artist with a soaring falsetto and guttural moments in his music. And he toured with like Sufjan Stevens and Elton John he performed with. It's just an eclectic, interesting music experience to hear Gallant. Definitely one of our favorite albums of the year, which if you listen to the top 50 countdown, you know. This is when he talked to us on our February 26th episode. He's talking about his beginnings as a musician and why he loves making music even when no one hears it.
It wasn't even really a project. It was just I was bored. I'd be home from school, and I felt like I was keeping a lot of stuff inside, and so the only way that I could really express it was to just have a mic and write just whatever I wanted at the time. And they were horrible, awful songs. It made me feel like I was doing something, and it made me feel happy to listen back to it, even though I didn't necessarily want to share it with anyone else. And so that to me felt like something, and it just kind of got awry and got out of hand, and I just never stopped doing it.
I don't mean to brag, but Gallant later in the year was on Fallon and it went viral. We had him on in February. I kind of feel like Jimmy Fallon was copying us. I don't want to toot our own horn, but we were way ahead of the curve on that one.
Well, Fallon did send us a direct message on Twitter that one time. So we
did.
we know he follows the show closely.
Cameron, I don't know how to tell you this, but they were catfishing us. They were trying to get to our server to see what guests we had coming down the pipe, because that's where they're getting their talent. I was catfished by Jimmy Fallon. I don't appreciate it, but you're welcome, world. You got Gallant as a result. One of the other, one of my favorite things that happened this year was your conversation with Rob Bell, who I know he's a controversial figure among our listeners, but he has so many interesting things to say about ministry and pastoring that I feel like a lot of people would benefit from hearing, even if they don't agree with all his theology.
We talked for 45 minutes, an hour. I'm really interested in the backstory to things. Like, you're making something that's interesting. I want to know your journey that got you to that point. Well, Rob Bell's had quite the journey over the last 7 years. And in that conversation, he was very candid about kind of that progression. And it was an honor for us to be able to air part of that interview. One of the moments that stood out to me aside from that was, the way he views the sermon. He was a local church pastor, and then went off to LA to pursue TV, and now he does talks and he does Oprah shows and all this other stuff. And to find out about his love for the sermon as an art form was fascinating. He had a book come out this year called How to Be Here, but we didn't really talk about that. One of the things that we kept talking about was like his journey, leaving his days at Mars Hill and what he's doing now, and his passion for reclaiming the sermon as an art form.
Yeah, it's interesting because what he's doing now may not be in a church, but it's not that different than his role, which is exploring the different ways people can connect with a good sermon.
Yeah.
Like 25 years ago, I essentially stumbled into the sermon as an art form. And I was like, oh, this is why I'm here. Like I could be terrible at this, but I could give my life to this. So the sermon is an art form that needs to be reclaimed. And it's the original guerrilla theater, somewhere between a recovery movement, a TED Talk, a guerrilla theater, performance art, and a revival. I mean, this art form has been hijacked in our culture. For many people, the sermon is how you build bigger buildings. You know what I mean? The sermon is what you do in order to get people to give money to build something bigger. For other people, the sermon is a belief affirmation device. You just keep telling people what they've heard every Sunday their whole life, and then everybody feels good because we're in and everybody else isn't. But the sermon is about the sacred disruption. I mean, you think about Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. Nobody heard that sermon. It was like, oh man, he was funnier last week. You know what I mean? That was an event. You were either there or you weren't. It was a vision of a new world. And so I set out to reclaim this art form. And I don't believe this art form should be confined to a particular building on a Sunday morning or evening. I think it should compete with all other art forms. So that's what I've tried to do. So in some senses, I see what you're saying. They're leaving the local church in some senses was I have to keep going and I have to keep announcing good news and the death and resurrection mystery built into the fabric of creation. And I have to see how far you can take it. And it's just been unbelievably exciting.
All Sons and Daughters. I'm just gonna tell you a little behind the scenes.
Okay, let's hear it.
They came through our studio
Spill it.
a few years ago. A few years ago, they came through. I mean, this is like when they were barely a band.
Yeah.
There were a couple of worship leaders from Nashville, and they came through our studio, and it was an amazing recording. You can watch the performances on our YouTube channel. And, you know, our YouTube channel of those performances, especially from that era, is interesting. You have like the Hillsong United's at like 20 plus million views. And then there's another tier of like several million views, not as many as Hillsong, but several million. And you have like Gungor in that tier because some of the stuff that they've done is unbelievable in our studio. And All Sons and Daughters is right there.
Yeah.
And when they came through the studio this year, they pulled me aside. They're like, you know, we credit Relevant to like the fact that we have a career. Like, because when they were first starting out, we recorded these songs with them and they took off and got them a fan base. And now they are one of the best and most successful worship bands touring today and still making amazing art. And we love them. We're fans. We were glad they came through. They were on our September 9th episode from the album Poets and Saints. Here's All Sons and Daughters performing You Are Love and Love Alone.
Fearing not, we come to thee, and fearing not the weak and lowly, for your love has set us free. And by the blue sky bending over, by the green earth's flowery home, and teach us, Lord, the angel chorus, you are love and love alone. 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 You are. And though the world's in flames should perish, the sun and stars in ruin fall, and trust in thee our hearts should cherish. Oh Lord, be our all in all. And with your name the heavens praising, angels hymn no sweeter tone. And then the songs our hearts are raising, you are love and love alone. 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 You are. How perfectly our hearts are made for love. How perfectly our hearts are made for love. How perfectly Perfectly, our hearts are made for love. You are love, love alone. 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 You are.
One of the big breakout movie stars this year, who is going to, she's young, and I think she's going to have a huge career. She's already been in 12 Years a Slave, Star Wars, The Jungle Book, and then this year, Queen of Katwe, was Lufde Nyong'o. And one thing that's really interesting about her career so far is that each of the roles that she has chosen sort of have these redemptive undertones, or at least like a socially conscious undertone when you're talking about a movie like 12 Years a Slave. And Queen of Katwe, which was one of her big movies, it still has like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, that she put out this year, actually is about a Christian missionary. Back in October, we actually got to talk to her, not just about why she kind of gravitates towards those roles, but why, you know, her whole philosophy is that engaging with some of these big ideas that these films present can actually have a big impact on the world.
I mean, I'm attracted to roles and stories that are complex, that say something and teach me something new about the human spirit. Then I do believe in redeeming social value potential, and I think I'm attracted to those kinds of stories, because I do think that cinema and television, popular culture, really is the way in which we, in this day and age, that's the way in which we understand the world, that we interact with the world beyond our immediate surroundings. You know, it gives us a better understanding of the world we live in, and it's an opportunity, I think, to have to expand on the conversation and our understanding of the world we live in. But really, the things that I have gravitated to, I think, are things that have moved me deeply, and I feel an impetus to participate in. And, you know, it goes from Eclipse to even The Jungle Book, or even Star Wars. You know, they're all, in one form or another, have offered me a unique opportunity, and I see their value to me and to what I hope is my audience.
Back in March, we had a really cool performance from a band that has, you know, they're really known for like their energetic live performances and their really kind of passionate live performances, because at their core, they are like a folk band. I mean, a lot of stuff they do has this kind of unplugged campfire vibe to it. Back in March, Ren Collective came by and they played Joy of the Lord from their album As Family We Go.
This was on the March 18th episode, a little behind the scenes on what happened March 18th, other than this phenomenal performance by Ren Collective. March 18th, that's my birthday week. That was the day Jesse and I flew back from South by Southwest.
Oh, yeah.
And I flew back to make the Orlando Magic Cleveland Cavaliers game, made it just in time, and the Orlando Magic gave me a custom jersey as a birthday present.
Is it a Strang jersey, or is it a
Strang jersey with my age on it? The number is my birthday number. And as I'm driving home from that game, a phenomenal evening, incredible birthday week, I'm listening to this song, Ren Collective, on our podcast. Capped off one of the best weeks of my life. Ren Collective doing Joy of the Lord.
tears may fall, my song will rise, my song will rise to you. Though my heart may fail, my song will rise, my song will rise to you. While there's breath in my lungs, I will praise you, Lord. In the dead of night, I'll lift my eyes to you. Though the waters rise, I'll lift my eyes to you. While there's hope in this heart, I will praise you, Lord. You are my hope, the joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. In the darkness I'll dance, in the shadows I'll sing. The joy of the Lord is my strength. When I cannot see you with my eyes, let faith arise to you. When I cannot feel your hand in mine, let faith arise to you. God of mercy and love, I will praise you, Lord. How you shine with glory, Lord of light, I feel alive with you. In your presence now I come alive, I am alive with you. There is strength when I say, I will praise you, Lord. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. In the darkness I'll dance, in the shadows I'll sing. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Oh yeah, the joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. In the darkness I'll dance, in the shadows I'll sing. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Oh yeah, yeah. You are my strength when all else fails. When sorrow comes my way, you are the shield around me. Always you remain my courage in the fight. I hear you call my name, Jesus, I am coming. Walking on the waves, reaching for your light. The joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. In the darkness I'll dance, in the shadows I'll sing. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Oh, oh, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Come on. The joy of the Lord is my strength. In the darkness I'll dance, in the shadows I'll sing. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Oh yes, Lord. When all else fails, you are the joy that leads me on. Oh my Lord.
Another fun fact about the song you just heard that aired on March 18th. It was Chandler's first week editing the show.
Yeah. Cameron, real quick, just on the subject of that jersey, every time I think about you having a custom Magic jersey, it really makes me sad that you haven't snuck into a game and checked in yet with it.
You know what? I'm trying to get in shape, so it could be somewhat plausible that the 5'11" guy who's out there suited up. He's one of those like spark plug undersized point guards.
Right. You're slapping the floor. Yeah. You're a hustle guy. You're a heart and hustle guy.
So I got to be like really athletic looking to be able to pull that off. I think it was more likely that I would just don a suit and a clipboard and sidle up during a timeout and try to be a coach.
Well, it starts with that, but 2017, you got to have goals, and and I'm hopeful that on the Best of 2017 episode, we will talk about the time you got banned from the Orlando Magic Stadium for life.
And ironically, Rent Collective will somehow be associated with that moment too, probably. So,
speaking of back in January,
who said back in January? We're talking about March.
I had to figure out a transition. How am I supposed to transition from Joseph Fiennes to you sneaking to Orlando Magic game in 2017? It would have been flawless. No one would have noticed that we never mentioned you. Early in the year, Joseph Fiennes, who's like an Academy Award winning actor, you can hear it in his voice. He has this like really prestigious British accent that makes you feel like really dumb talking to him.
Yeah, but so does the Allstate guy. I mean, he has the voice, but he's not going to win awards.
Yeah, but Joseph Fiennes did. I mean, he's like I said, an Academy Award winning actor, and he was in a movie early in the year where he actually played a Roman centurion that was investigating the resurrection of Christ. Which, again, another interesting role, which is which is why we wanted to talk to him, because Joseph Fiennes, as he said in the interview, he doesn't even consider himself that religious. But what's interesting about him is a guy who isn't religious. He's played missionary Eric Liddell in movies. He's played Martin Luther, and then this Roman soldier Clavius in Risen. So we got a chance to sit down and talk to him and ask him why he is someone who doesn't consider himself religious, but still gravitates towards these roles, playing super religious characters.
What I loved about that portrayal and Eric Liddell, as you mentioned, and Martin Luther, who brought the Reformation into the church maybe 100 years before it was due, and even to a degree Clavius as a non-believer, is that they have a code, they have a belief, and whether they change their beliefs, but their beliefs ultimately are positive, and their self-examination is full of self-evolution, and they have a principle and a morality. And I think in life, whenever we raise the bar, as these amazing characters, real or not, we have done, we get challenged immediately. I think there's a sort of outer force that goes, okay, you want to raise the bar? Well, how about this? So the struggle ensues, and they go on a journey, and it's all about weathering that storm. And I think that's what draws me to these characters, is that they are in many ways, they're rocks in which I look up to.
Speaking of January, in our July 15th episode...
It's weird. We were just talking about January. Continue. That was very smooth. I'm engaged.
We had Lisa Sharon Harper on the show. She wrote a book called The Very Good Gospel, which discusses racial injustice and why we're called to help fight it. It was an amazing interview. This year, obviously, we've had a number of guests on to talk about the issue of racial injustice in the church and all that. Obviously, 2016 is one of the defining issues that our country grappled with, and this show did too. Lisa brought a powerful perspective to the conversation. She explains how re-examining the creation narrative can actually help us understand the gospel in new ways, focusing not just on freedom from sin, but actually restoring broken relationships.
What I've come to understand is that the very goodness of the gospel is really wrapped up in the biblical concept of shalom. God's creation, having been created in relationship with each other, all parts of creation were created in interconnected relationship, and that those relationships are what God declared very good at the end of the sixth day. God said, Tov Me'od. This is Tov Me'od. And Tov Me'od, actually, the Tov is goodness, and the Hebrews understood the goodness, that kind of goodness, to experience, to be located between things, not in the thing itself. And the very is like forcefully good, overwhelmingly good, abundantly good, crazy, crazy good, right? So it's that is how we were created. That is what we were created for.
Audrey Assad is a singer-songwriter based in Nashville and has been a friend of the show over the years. She came on our March 25th episode to perform some songs from her new album called Inheritance. It was an awesome session. Here's Audrey Assad performing Even Unto Death.
Jesus, the very thought of you, it fills my heart with love. Jesus, you burn like wildfire, and darkest hour. In humiliation, I will wait for you. I am not forsaken, though I lose my life, though my breath be taken, I will wait for you. I am not forsaken, one thing I desire, to see you in your beauty. You are my delight. You are my glory. You my sacrifice. God, your love is all consuming. You are my delight. You are my glory. Oh, you are my glory. Oh, you are the lover of my soul, even unto death. With my every breath, I will love you. Oh, you are the lover of my soul, even unto death. With my every breath, I will love you. Jesus, the very thought of you. Ooh, Jesus, the very thought of you.
Cameron, I got a 2016 fun fact for you.
Oh, yeah.
There were two big book releases in 2016.
I know where you're going.
And both of them had the same name, and they're both really good books. That's the thing.
No, it wasn't just two books came out in 2016 that had the same name. They came out almost at the same time and definitely in the same like genre and category and type of bookstore.
And the
meaning a
cover
Christian
art
bookstore.
both featured the same thing: a prominent like picture of the author looking straight ahead with the book title, which was Unashamed in big, colorful text.
Unashamed.
Right on the cover.
Lecrae was one of them. And our good friend Christine Kane also came out with a book called Unashamed this year. Very different book. Same name.
Yeah.
Very different books. So, yeah, make sure you know which one you're reading.
Yeah, and we actually, yeah, it would be confusing otherwise. But we actually had a really great conversation with Christine too, who, you know, every time I hear someone who has thought as deeply as someone like Christine Kane, or like we were talking about Lisa Sharon Harper, about a topic like injustice, or in Christine Kane's case, the idea of shame and its spiritual roots, it was really enlightening. One of my favorite interviews of the year from the perspective of walking away being like, man, I really learned something. She talked about why it is such a pervasive problem and how we can fight against it.
Adam and Eve were fine. They were created in the image of God. All they knew was God in the garden. They had the perfect father. They had the perfect relationship, and still the enemy got in Genesis 3 and caused them to hide from God, to not feel good enough, and to feel fear. So it is the number one thing the enemy has used from Genesis, and Jesus died to shame, obviously, at the cross. And we fight now from a place of victory, but the reality is we live in a fallen world. So the devil still does what he did in the Garden of Eden, which is try to heap shame on us, to make us doubt what God has said about us. Like, did God really say? He's still saying the same thing today. Did God really say that? And he still wants us to hide from God and not to feel confident in who God has called us to be. And he'll often use the people closest to us, or media, or just our own voice in our own head telling us we are fundamentally unworthy and not good enough.
Christine, if you know her story, came to faith and started ministry through Hillsong Church in Sydney. That was why she had an accent. And speaking of Hillsong, see, now that's a segue, Jesse. Hillsong had a movie come out this year about them. It was called Let Hope Rise, and it was several years in the making. At first blush, you would kind of say, well, why, what kind of hubris that they would make a movie about themselves? Well, the reality is they didn't. A producer and a filmmaker approached them and said, we would love to just follow you guys and do a documentary and tell your story and tell the heart of the church. And Brian Houston and Bobby and the group, they all said, why would anybody want to watch a movie about us? But said, okay, maybe something God will use. And so they agreed to do it, and it came out this year. Back on our August 12th episode, I actually was in New York for the screening of the movie and sat down with Joel Houston, all the band members of Hillsong United and his parents, the founders of the church, Bobby and Brian Houston. I've been friends with Joel. We've done fantasy basketball and that kind of stuff over the years, and I didn't know what to expect. I was pretty hesitant, to be honest with you, because if you're friends with somebody and it's cheesy and bad, I don't have the personality to fake it very well. Like, oh, that was awesome, brother.
If a friend shows up to a party with a fedora, you're not going to be like, oh,
no,
that's cool.
No,
that's interesting.
I literally be like, you got to go home and change, like, sorry. He's like, no, I can just take the hat off. I'm like, no, literally you have to go home and actually just change as punishment for wearing that hat.
You need to rethink a lot of things in your life.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's me as a friend. That's why I don't have many friends. Yeah. And so I was nervous seeing this because oh no. Well, the reality is the director who did it is not a Christian. So it had this outsider's perspective, which made it not a puff piece. He also was the director of the Jay-Z documentary and Nicki Minaj and so many others that were actually really powerful and well done. And so it's part documentary, part worship concert, and they call it a theatrical music or worship experience, and it really delivered on that. And so we were talking, about the film after we had just seen it, and this is Joel talking about how the film was an opportunity to challenge stereotypes and point people toward deeper truths.
One of the things that I thought was an intriguing opportunity is because there's just so many stereotypes. Like everybody stereotypes everything, and perspective is it's a personal thing, and wherever you see it, you look at it and you see what you see, and yet the whole premise of what we're trying to do is to kind of break through all of that, because that's what Jesus did. He didn't bend to one or the other. He became a different worldview. And I think the opportunity there is the only way people can see that is if we're able to, it's a movie. People are watching images of something that can't be described, in a song or a dance, and it comes back to everything we do. We know what we do on stage. It's about we have to draw attention to ourselves for a moment, just try and draw people's attention to who God is or who Jesus is. The best way you can do that is by just opening up, and removing the layers. So for every single, flashbang light thing that could be a distraction, there has to be a moment where you bring it back, you make it personal for somebody. And the best way to make it personal is to be personal yourself. Mm-hmm. This is why we sing. This is why we write these songs. This is why we tour. This is why we leave our families behind. This is why we do this. Because God's changed our life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God's grace through Jesus Christ. I don't deserve to be here. And I'm not going to give up the platform or try and make it about me as long as it's in front of me. Because I know that it's not mine in the first place. And I know that can just sound like just whatever, but it's real for us.
Back when we went to South by Southwest earlier this year, one of the bands I get to interview and kind of check out in preparation was a group called Run River North. And I wasn't super familiar with them before that, but man, they are such a cool indie pop band that doesn't do the kind of a lot of singer-songwriter stuff, but really does this big atmospheric cool sound. So I was interested to see how it would translate when we found out that they were coming through the studio back in April. But what I think they produced was one of my favorite performances of the year, just because it sounds so different than a lot of the stuff that happens in a stripped down setting. They brought a lot of different elements to the table when they performed 29 from the album Drinking from the Salt Pond.
Trees grow where the ground's alright. Die old in the middle of the night. Roots of my hands to reach. Cut me down where the water meets the sea. My eyes were the first to find 29 in the middle of the night. Words in my head to see. Keep me up until the body disagrees. 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 Your words are cold like the wind. They hold no weight around me. Let go, you're telling me to let go. I know the shadows are the only one. I know the shadows are the only one. The trees grow where the ground's alright. Die old in the middle of the night. Words in my head to sleep. Keep me up until the body disagrees. Keep me up until the body disagrees. Your words are cold like the wind. They hold no weight around me. Let go, you're telling me to let go. I know the shadows are the only ones. Your words are cold like the wind. They hold no weight around me. Let go, you're telling me to let go. I know the shadows are the only ones. I know it's home, I know it hurts. I know I'll end up at the bottom of your dirt. What if I leave, never become? What if the sea leads me straight to the sun? I know it's home, I know it hurts. I know I'll end up at the bottom of your dirt. What if I leave, never become? What if the sea leads me straight to the sun? Your words are cold like the wind. They hold no weight around me. Let go, you're telling me to let go. I know the shadows are the only ones. Your words are cold like the wind. They hold no weight around me. Let go, you're telling me to let go. I know the shadows are the only ones.
I would think drinking from a salt pond would be a disgusting experience. I'm just the song. The song
it doesn't
is
sound pleasant.
Yeah, but the song was pleasant.
Yeah,
So,
the irony there.
It's like doing. It's like that. They're doing the same thing that Third Eye Blind did with that doot 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 song. It's like a happy peppy song, but it was really about suicide and sad things.
Yeah, meth addiction.
Right. So this,
I haven't peeled back too many of the layers in that live performance, and I'm a little afraid to, because
drinking from the salt pond. You would think that would be a just terrible thing, but they did a good song about a terrible thing. The irony.
Hey, Cameron, I'll tell you something that's not terrible. Actor David Oyelowo.
That's a pro level segue right there.
I mean, that's, I had that one scripted.
He has an Oscar nominee worthy voice.
Oh, absolutely. And he's, an Oscar nominee, worthy everything, career. And if you're familiar with him, again, he is not just a great actor who's chosen a lot of roles that have these kind of redemptive elements to him, but he's also a super vocal Christian. And we got the chance to sit down and talk to him about, how his faith informs the roles he chooses, and also why he thinks that he's called to make these kind of movies, because they can impact culture with really redemptive themes.
I hope that, you know, when all is said and done with my career, what will be said is not that I only did films of any certain kind, but the truth is that I do gravitate towards films that I personally would want to see, films that I hope have something to say and are meaningful, and so therefore those can be categorized as films that are redemptive, that are life-affirming, and of course reflect my faith as a Christian, my ethos as a husband and a father. And so, you know, Queen of Cartway, as it pertains to that, I was really drawn to this character that I get to play in the film of Robert Katende, who truly is a self-sacrificing individual, which, you know, as it pertains to the Christian faith, is obviously the central tenet of what we believe, certainly what I believe. And this man doesn't just talk about it, he does it. You know, he works for a sports ministry out in Uganda, and you know, that his role, he believes, his calling is to give these kids hope, is to give them self-esteem by giving them love, and chess is one of the means by which he does that. And you know, I find him to be an incredibly inspiring individual in real life, so playing him was something I really wanted to do.
When we looked at the stats of downloads this year, 2 episodes were at the top, very top. And one of those 2 was this next one with Shauna Niequist. Shauna is a longtime friend of the show and was actually a cast member for several years. And my life has been deeply impacted by her friendship. And she released a book this year called Present Over Perfect, which has been what her life has been, you know, about since I've known her. She, at the beginning of our friendship, we were both at a transition point in life, and she was transitioning from go, achieve, say yes, do all, you know, make it, you got to hustle. That's when I met her. And we both were impacted by a guy named Bob Goff, who challenged us to maybe embrace a different approach to life. And Shauna took it to heart. And I watched her as she deliberately and intentionally started to change her priorities and change how she lived. And the outgrowth of that process for her is this book, Present Over Perfect. We visited her up in Chicago when we were up there for Lollapalooza. And when we did that a couple years ago, we went to lunch with her and recorded the conversation, and it was so fun. We thought, let's do that again. Shauna, you picked the restaurant, and she took us to a takeout burger joint. So we couldn't record anything there because the tables were picnic tables outside. So we thought, okay, well, you know, it was great just catching up, having lunch and eating, but we weren't able to record. Let's go somewhere quieter. Oh, there's a coffee shop down the block. Let's go down there. Of course, it's packed. Of course, we can't record in there. Well, now we're running out of time. We need to record an interview. What do we do? So we found a park. And so we go sit in the park. It's Chicago, so it's windy. And it was under the L train. So we had this hour-long conversation with Shauna. And every minute and a half, we would have to all just stop, let the train pass, quietly stare at each other, and then resume as soon as a train went on. It was.
Cameron, can I just say this? It wasn't perfect.
But we were present, and that's all that mattered, Jesse.
We were present. Yeah.
We were present with her, and that's always better than being perfect.
That's right.
She talked to us about the importance of understanding the idea of Sabbath and rest in an era of constant noise and distraction, like an L train over your head. Here's Shauna.
I think you're working while you're home, while you're with your kids, while you're with your family, and that stuff gets all jumbled up. And so that means there aren't automatic answers for what rest looks like or what Sabbath looks like, because you could be, Jesse, you could be completely present and connected and totally wholly there with your kids, or you could be a million miles away thinking about work stuff, and to the outside viewer it looks the same. So it's a lot more about training our own kind of impulses and habits, because for you it's not like, well, I'm home, I'm here, because you work at home and I work at home, and you know, It's about a deeper sense of holding yourself accountable to live according to your values, even though it might look different than it did 75 years ago or something.
We've covered a lot of highlights so far. A lot of highlights. I'd say some of my favorite moments you've heard.
Yep.
There's a cast member not on right now named Eddie Kaufholz. If you've listened to the show, he's been on for 3.5 years now at this point. If you've listened to the show, you might know that he has a few quirks, a few loves, passionate loves.
Passions in life.
Show tunes. Cats
I would
the
say
musical.
obsessions. I would say restraining order level obsessions.
Dave Matthews Band is one of those, and DC Talk would be among the Mount Rushmore of Eddie Kaufholz's interests and passions. We decided to make it our mission to get DC Talk reunited, and that Eddie would be at the centerpiece of that. Toby said no to our efforts, but
that is until we called up a cruise line and pulled some strings. I got a lot of friends in the cruise industry, believe it or not. This isn't related to that.
It's not true that Toby said no, FYI. But anyway, the closest we got to reuniting DC Talk was actually reaching out to Kevin Max. And Kevin was a great sport. He actually had a new album come out this year. And so we're like, okay, you have a new album come out. And Eddie wants to talk to you about a lot of things. So why don't you come down? And so he flew down and spent the day with us. No lie, Eddie interviewed him for 2.5 hours. That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, it was super long.
And I mean, literally, I was in the room. I've never heard. This is like a lifetime's worth of questions that Eddie had for Kevin Max. And poor Kevin sat there and answered them graciously. And we ran a very small portion of that interview on the podcast.
Can I just say, Cameron, that afterward, they were both visibly, physically, emotionally, and very spiritually drained and exhausted. And Kevin Max took an IV after that.
That's true. It was very exhausting. But Kevin performed a few songs from his new album that came out this year. The album's called Playing Games with the Shadow. Here is Kevin Max performing Skin of Our Teeth.
Penetrate the film, the nebulous of your skin, burrow deep within, never to escape again. The storybook of our sin, guided by a light that dims. Hold on, never look back. We walk into our own death traps. Lay back and whisper my name. You will never feel the same. A tidal wave of shame. We managed to numb the pain. And oh, here we walk the silver strand. Naked to all, hand in hand. Like wolves of chance, the blindest thieves see us on the silver screen. Hanging on the silver screen by the skin of our teeth. Like ashes we fall, like diamonds with all the flaws. We see through all the dark with periscopic blood, and lay back and whisper my name. You will never be the one they blame. A tidal wave of shame. We managed to numb all the pain, and oh, here we walk the silver strand. Naked to all, hand in hand. Like wolves of chance, the blindest thieves see us on the silver screen. Hanging on the silver screen.
Cameron, one of my highlights in general of 2016, I'm not just talking podcasts here. I'm talking the whole year, was a night that we had, there wasn't any shows that we wanted to see that evening in South by Southwest, but you found out about a comedy showcase going on in downtown Austin where, Hannibal Buress was going to be headlining. So, we thought
Judd Apatow was putting it together. So they had screened the Judd Apatow movie, the new Pee-wee's Big Adventure movie that Netflix was releasing. They did a screening of that, and then after the screening, it got announced that Judd Apatow was going to do a stand-up comedy night and invite some of his friends. And Hannibal was going to be on part of it, Rob Clyde, some other ones, and then this next guest.
Yeah, it was one of the best surprises and most fun I've had at any kind of concert or venue. We got to see comedian Nate Bargatze perform live, and that was sort of our introduction to his comedy. But since then, I think Nate's been on, since we last saw him, he's been on The Tonight Show like 2 more times. He's pretty much a regular on there. And when we found out that he was coming through Orlando, we thought this is a dude that we have to have on because, one thing when Cameron and I started listening to his comedy, he's clean. And,
listen, we had just seen Judd Apatow, Hannibal Buress, and Rob Klein. The fact that a clean comedian came out, it was like startlingly welcome. You know what I mean? It was was the palate cleanser on a 10-course meal.
Yeah. So we found out that Nate is a Christian. He's not a quote unquote Christian comedian, but he's a really funny guy. He had to come by the studio. We had a long, really interesting, really funny conversation. But along with kind of hearing about some of his backstory, we also learned about some of the challenges of being a comedian, like when you're performing on a late night show, like let's say like Conan O'Brien, and you flub a joke, and what do you do when the host comes out to greet you afterwards?
I messed up a joke on a late night on Conan when he was in New York, and I messed it up like very briefly. But like when you mess something up, like when you get off stage, you're very like, you just want to talk, you want to tell someone whatever happened. Like if the crowd's good, if the crowd's bad, if you mess something up. So anybody that walks up, you'll be like, you'll say, it doesn't matter. And I remember he walked over and he was like, that was a really good job. And I was like, I messed that joke up. I don't know if that's going to be a problem. And he just was like, what? And he's like, Nate Bargatze. Like, he's like, why does he care? He's like, the last person I should tell.
Yeah, the number one person. Don't tell.
Yeah, just act like everything went. Yeah, he thinks it went great. So just say, yeah, it went great.
Do yourself a favor and go over to iTunes or Apple Music or whatever and get Nate's comedy albums. His latest album is called Full-Time Magic, and it's great. I will say, being in the room with Nate Bargatze and Jesse was in the studio for that August 26th interview. It was like when I was in the room watching Eddie interview Kevin Max. It was like Jesse's obsession with comedians is fascinating and hilarious to me, but he turns into it's a combination of like a 10-year-old kid around, professional athletes combined with like a student and a mentor. And like, it's just it's hilarious. And Jesse was very excited to talk to Nate, and it was funny to be in the room with them, but there you go.
Yeah, it was definitely a highlight.
Yeah. Well, another long-term friend of ours is Philip LaRue. He and his wife, Leah, have a group called Us and Our Daughters, and they've performed on the podcast a few times over the years. Phenomenal artists. Philip's a songwriter and an artist based out of Nashville. He had a new solo album come out this year called You, and he came through on February 5th and performed the song Carry You. Here's Philip LaRue.
You cannot see, but you're inches away from the edge. The canyons will call, but don't you dare listen to them. The earth, it may quake and your heart may break, but no, I am where I stand and I will not let you go. 'Cause I will carry you, carry you, carry you away from it all. I won't let you fall. 'Cause I will lift you up, lift you up, lift you up into the light. Don't close your eyes till the morning, and let it all begin. Let it all begin. The wind's on your back, a sonnet above your soul. There's so much of you that you still need to know. The rain, it is falling like a river sweet. I'm hoping the current will lead you right back to me. 'Cause I will carry you, carry you, carry you away from it all. I won't let you fall. 'Cause I will lift you up, lift you up, lift you up into the light. Don't close your eyes till the morning, and let it all begin. Let it all begin. Let it all begin. 'Cause I will carry you, carry you, carry you away from it all. I won't let you fall. 'Cause I will lift you up, lift you up, lift you up into the light. Don't close your eyes till the morning, and let it all begin. Oh, let it all begin. Oh, let it all begin. Oh, let it all begin.
A few months ago, they announced that Garrison Keillor was no longer going to host his longtime, NPR radio show, Prairie Home Companion. It's sort of this like variety comedy show that has been airing on public radio for like 50 years. And the guy that they chose to replace him is familiar, I feel like, probably to a lot of our audience, Chris Thile. He was the leader of the bands Punch Brothers and Nickel Creek. And, he
To clarify, that's Nickel Creek. Not Nickelback.
That's right. Initially they had asked the guys.
Yeah, some people get that confused. No, Chad Kroeger is not hosting a Prairie Home Companion. It's Chris Thile.
No, I'll be honest. I would totally listen to that. I would totally listen to that. But he is a guy. He may not be instituting the same kind of changes that Chad Kroeger would. They're not like serving Jaeger and Red Bull when you walk in the old theaters now. But he is changing the tone of the show. He said he wants to have Radiohead on there. He wants to have Anderson .Paak. He's already had like the Shins and Jack White. So he's taking this old school NPR institution and bringing it and changing it to something that I think a lot of people in our audience would actually dig. Back in October, just before, it was like the week before he kicked off his show, we got a chance to talk to him, and not just about some of the music that he's introducing, but some of the spiritual aspects of Prairie Home Companion. And he talked about why a show like that has a church-like role in the lives of a lot of the people who listen to it.
I think the show that Garrison created, I think Prairie Home Companion itself has a church-like role to a certain extent. It comes on from 5 to 7 on Saturday evenings. It has always been geared towards families as a whole. And there's this communal aspect, the seasonal aspect of things. This is what it's like to be alive right now. There are issues that we're all dealing with. We're, here in America, we're all, we're just enveloped in this very intense election. And we both want to talk about it and want to escape from it.
Yeah.
And I think that a show like Prairie Home Companion is uniquely situated to be of service in times like that.
When you look back at 2016, there's going to be a couple of things. I'm talking like 10, 20 years from now. There's going to be a couple of things that probably stick out. Some of the stuff that Lecrae and Lisa Sharon Harper were talking about will probably be one of those things. The other, there was an election. And we at Relevant have had an arm's length relationship with politics over the years. We just, it's divisive. We're not partisan. We believe what we believe based on what the Bible's saying. And I believe that both parties are right and wrong on biblical issues. And so how can you be all on one side or the other and lob grenades at the other side? We just feel like, building understanding and building bridges and working toward the common good would be a better approach to politics. Well, that's not reality. And so we just kind of stay out of the conversation, try to stay out of the fray, right? One of the people who has impacted me in my own engagement and view of politics has been Pastor Rick Warren. He, a long time ago, wrote a book called A Purpose-Driven Life, and he is one of the wisest and most thoughtful leaders we have in the church today. And we had him on the show on our August 19th episode to discuss the importance of engaging culture, even in a divisive political climate. He talks about why true change won't come from politics. That, we should not worry as much about politics because true change isn't going to come from politics. It's going to come from Christians engaging with art and culture. Here's Rick Warren.
We should be known for our love and our diligence and our respectfulness more than we should be known for our political opinions. My problem is that I don't want the gospel to get co-opted by a view. For instance, if a woman comes onto my church campus, our church campus, and the first thing she sees is a anti-abortion table, okay, and she's had an abortion before she even gets into the building. She's already turned off and turned around and left. And so the good news is not a political statement. The good news is a salvation statement. And I just don't want that to get co-opted. So the important thing in this season is have your views, but say them respectfully, and certainly desire that you would be more known for your lifestyle, your Jesus lifestyle, and the message of grace, than to be known for what you believe about trade or what you believe about immigration or what you believe about any of these other things.
You know who someone else is that's had a really big year?
Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg was huge, and he rejected all of my invitations to come on the show. But regrettably, fingers crossed, 2017. No, I am talking. A lot of people actually get these two confused. It's not Snoop Dogg, but they, sometimes the mistakes happen. Lauren Daigle, the singer.
Yeah. This was the year of Lauren Daigle. My goodness.
Her album was it was not just topping like Christian, because she's a worship artist. She wasn't just topping like, gospel charts. She was like on the Billboard Top 100. She was like she had a breakout year this year.
Yeah. I, again, like all sons and daughters, take full credit for her success and hard work, because very early, before her album came out, we heard a couple of her songs and said, this is going to be one. This is going to be an artist that we would cover and we are excited about. We don't cover a lot of artists that work in that Christian radio world. I mean, they're few and far between where they can cross over to the relevant audience. And we heard Lauren early on and was like, wow, blown away by her, and covered her, done, features with her, had her on the show. This year on our September 16th episode, she came into the studio and blew everyone away. From her album, How Can It Be? She performed the title track, How Can It Be? Here's Lauren Daigle.
Ashamed of what I've done, what I've become. These hands are dirty. I did not lift them up to the Holy One. Ooh. You plead my cause, you right my wrongs, you break my chains, Afraid I've let you down. Inside I doubt that you still love me. Oh. But in your eyes there's only grace now. We believe. Oh yes, you plead my cause and you right my wrongs. Oh, you bang my chains. You overcome, Lord. You gave your life to give me mine, and you say that I am free. How can it be? Ooh, how can it be? Ooh, and though I fall, you can make me new, yes. And from this day, though I will rise with you. Oh, the grace reaching out for me. Oh, how can it be, oh God? Oh, yes. How can it be? Ooh, you plead my cause. You right my wrongs. You break my chains. You overcome. You gave your life to give me mine, yes. You say that I am free. Oh, you plead my cause and you right my wrongs, yes you do. You bang my chains. You overcome, Lord. You gave your life to give me mine, yes. You say that I am free. How can it be? Ooh, how can it be? Oh yeah.
And she's a super nice person. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, totally cool.
I mean, made sure to talk to everybody, smile on her face, just glad to be here, honored to be here. Like, just one of those people that, like, you know, we know a lot of artists and people behind the scenes, and she's one of those people that is so sincere and kind and humble and just joyful. Like, you root for these people. Like, we want the good people to make it, you know what I mean? And Lauren's one of those that she's just, she's the real deal. So
I think she would get along with Snoop Dogg, actually.
yeah. And when I think real deal, I think Snoop, because I mean,
I think they could be
not
friends
gonna
because
fake
she can
it.
be friends with anyone. She's that kind of person.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, Cameron, this was a year that, you know, a lot of heavy stuff happened. And one of the cool things about our platform is we get to hear from such a variety of voices that can speak out and speak with an interesting perspective and a perspective that is really intimate with the knowledge of things like racial injustice and violence. And that is actually trying to do something to enact change. Back in September, we had rapper Derek Minor come on the show, who's not just a great artist. His latest album, Reflection, came out not too long ago. Killer album. But when you listen to it, you notice that a lot of the themes he's directly addressing, not just some of his own you know, ideas about spirituality and faith and growing your faith, but also how we need to engage issues like racial injustice and, you know, police violence and the Black Lives Matter movement. We had him in the studio and he talked, you know, really bluntly and really openly, and, you know, he got emotional about what the church can do on a practical level and needs to do on a practical level to adjust inequality in the country.
I believe if the church puts its mind to it, we'll begin to see a dent in dent in, some of these racial inequality issues. And I feel like if we were to fight for that, we'll see change. But I think some of it is just having tangible goals. 2, be fearless amongst your congregation. You probably, if you go to an all-white church or all-black church, or if you go to a mixed church, you probably have some racists in your church. You have to be okay with if one of those racists are huge donors. Like, hey, they pay a lot of money to your church. You have to be okay with offending them because you're not doing them a service by not offending them.
Yeah.
Like the gospel, like for the racists, they need the gospel too to penetrate their heart. I don't want to see racist people killed or murdered. I want to see them rocked by the gospel of Jesus to where they say, man, one day, man, I didn't like anyone that didn't look like me, but today God has rocked my heart and my soul, and I love everyone, and I don't know everything, but I'm fighting for the cause. I want to see those types of testimonies. That can't happen in your churches if you're scared, if you're being a coward,
if you're holding it back.
If you're holding it back.
Yeah.
And, if you knew in your church there were people that struggled with, pornography or tons of different things like that, you would get on there, you would rally against it regardless of what happens. And I think with race, don't be a coward.
I've been on the road, show right after show, You've been all alone, so I can't wait to get home, even when I'm not around. Anchor, yeah, she hold me down. I be always out of town, but you ain't got nothing to worry.
On our December 9th episode, which wasn't too long ago, if you haven't heard it yet, catch up. Ellie Holcomb joined us. She has a new album coming out in January, so this is a little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
The album's called Red Sea Road, and she previewed a few of the songs for us. What's funny is after we aired this on December 9th, I saw on Twitter a number of podcast listeners tweeting at Ellie, like asking, where can I get that song you did on the Relevant podcast? Because it's not out yet. So she was like very graciously responding to each of them. It's on my new album. It's coming out in January, So here you go. A little preview of an album coming out in January. Here's Ellie Holcomb performing Wonderfully Made.
It's 2 in the morning and I'm still awake in my bed. I can't shake these lies, they keep running around in my head. What if I saw me the way that you see me? What if I believed it was true? What if I traded this shame and self-hatred for a chance at believing you? You knit me together in my mother's womb, and you say that I've never been hidden from you, and you say that I'm wonderfully made. You search me, you know me. You know when I sit, when I rise. So you must know the choices I made and the shame that I hide. What if I saw me the way that you see me? What if I believed it was true? What if I traded this shame and self-hatred for a chance at believing you? You knit me together in my mother's womb, and you say that I've never been hidden from you, and you say that I'm wonderfully made. Born, and you know all the man that you're mindful of us. Still you say that we're wonderfully made. Say that you know me completely, oh Lord, oh you hem me in both behind and before, and I'm wonderfully made. Yeah, you knit me together in my mother's womb. They say that I've never been hidden from you, and I'm wonderfully made. Ooh, wonderfully made. Help me believe it, help me to see me just like you made me, just like you say that I'm wonderfully made. Yeah.
This next one had all the sci-fi nerds in our office incredibly excited.
Which there are a surprising amount, like especially in the design and code and development area. It's the nerd zone over there.
I'm sorry, but I think there's a certain team member that works with you, like rhymes with Marin Manbury, that also is incredibly excited about the sci-fi genre. I am not of such a leaning, yet was still intrigued by the huge blockbuster film that came out this year, and now had Oscar-nominated performances or Golden Globe-nominated performances in it. Doctor Strange, huge movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. The MCU, as those nerds back in our development department will correct you and say. But the crazy thing about the movie for us, it's like the movie isn't even the most interesting thing about the Doctor Strange franchise. Yeah. The guy who they chose to direct it is a guy named Scott Derrickson, who grew up in the church, is a Christian. You know, he went to Christian colleges.
Let's clarify though. He's not one of these grew up in the church and now he's successful outside the church and only has a nostalgic relationship with faith. He is currently a strong Christian. You know what I mean? We talk to a lot of people who in Hollywood, grew up in the church. Let's say like a Pete Holmes or something like that. Yeah. And so like when we talk to them, it's like, we're going to talk about that and kind of the journey from there to where they are now. And that's still interesting and illuminating or whatever. But with Scott Derrickson, he is this massive director in Hollywood directing horror films as a strong, outspoken Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, before he did this movie, which ended up being one of the biggest movies of the year, Doctor Strange, he did hardcore horror movies like Hellraiser and like Sinister and really crazy stuff. So this was when the movie came out and he's making the jump to mainstream, this was a real opportunity to talk to someone who has a perspective literally like no one else on the planet right now. Yeah. There's not many people that have taken the trajectory he's on. So we got to talk to him about his philosophy going into this movie, with his own faith. But, he kind of talked about how it wasn't really an effort in Doctor Strange to appease Christians or even atheists who are skeptical, but he really wanted to focus on opening up a conversation about religion and spirituality among all kinds of audiences.
In this age where, the word Christian conjures up angry, vocal, closed-minded Christians, and the word atheist conjures up images of angry, closed-minded atheists, and I just, all of these terms just become fighting words. I really like the idea that the comics and the movie, therefore, could just be a third thing where we're talking about magic and we're talking about mysticism, we're talking about possibilities and other realities, in places where we all know, religious ideas and scientific ideas overlap, even though we're not really playing with that either in this movie. We're not explaining magic scientifically. Magic is magic. But I can't help but view the world mystically.
It's how I see it. I'm not a strict materialist. I think there's much more to the world than what we see with our five senses. And so, I'm a good choice for this material because I feel the world that way.
All right, we're down to the end. This is the final highlight of the year, and then we'll wrap it up after this. But one of the most exciting music performances we had this year was when David Crowder came through the studio. Again, not totally sure what to expect when some of the artists show up. Is it just gonna be him and a banjo? Nope, not with David Crowder. He rolls 28 deep, and they came in with djembes and harps and it was
pretty much his full band.
I mean, it literally filled our room. They were like shoulder to shoulder and rubbing elbows, literally making this swampy grass, music that it was electrifying. It was such a fun day, such a fun experience to be that close to such a presence. He has a new album out this year called American Prodigal, and it's when we talk to him, he talks about the fact that he finally feels like he figured out his voice. I mean, he's been doing this 15 years, and this is the album where he feels like he finally figured out who he is as an artist. And it's that swamp, it's that I can't put my finger on it, kind of blues undertone, rock and folk kind of thing. And he literally found a new voice with this album. Here is David Crowder performing My Victory from our September 23rd episode.
Came for criminals and every Pharisee. You came for hypocrites, even one like me. You carried sin and shame, the guilt of every man, the weight of all I've done nailed into your hand. Oh, your love bled for me. Oh, your blood in crimson streams. Oh, your death is hell's defeat. A cross meant to kill is my victory. Oh, your amazing grace, I've seen and tasted it. It's running through my veins. I can't escape its grip. In you my soul is saved. You cover everything. Oh, your blood bled for me. Oh, your blood in crimson streams. Oh, your death is hell's defeat. Cross meant to kill is my victory. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away our sin, who takes away our sin. The Holy Lamb of God makes us alive again, makes us alive again. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away our sin, who takes away our sin. The Holy Lamb of God makes us to kill is my victory. Oh, a cross meant to kill is my victory.
All right, Jesse, we did it.
Another year.
Another
in the
year.
books.
No, in the books. I mean, it's an audio podcast.
I've been
Somebody
transcribing all of these and publishing them. I have like 7 telephone books worth of transcriptions right now. You're telling me we're not releasing this in book form? I've wasted a tremendous amount of time. No, but yeah, this was like you said. I feel like, and you and I can say this was our best year yet on the podcast. You know, we had incredible guests, a lot of fun conversations. Also, this is the opportunity. I want to thank people who they took what we did 2 years ago with like our Nickelback challenge, and we made it interactive this year. I had so much fun doing the Locked in the Cage earlier this summer, where we had people come see us. Some of our listeners come see us, interact with us on Facebook Live. It was just, we got to do the top 50, a new spinoff podcast that we got a lot of great feedback from. But really, it's all because of listeners, and it's all because they're engaged and they take time to download us and hear us joke around for an hour and a half every week.
The way this show has evolved and the relationship that we now have with so many listeners, it's one of the highlights of my week. It's one of my favorite things that we get to do. And I just want to say thanks to all of you who listen, especially those of you who listen every week and engage us on Twitter and whatever. It means a lot to us. We have a blast interacting with you guys, and just knowing that you're out there is fun. This show started from humble beginnings 11 and a half years ago, and now it's awesome to see. We're actually, this coming year, we're moving into a new studio. We're going to be doing a lot more video stuff around the podcast and also in addition to the podcast. And we are going to be launching a podcast network in 2017 of other shows, things that span a wider spectrum of what Relevant covers. And so, whether it be hypothetically sports or, theology or culture or whatever it is, more of what you like about Relevant, we're going to be making audio podcast programming that hopefully you'll enjoy. So we've had a lot of fun doing the show, and we continue to have a blast doing the show. And, the next year is going to be the best year. That's how we always kind of think about it. But the momentum, the growth, it means a lot. It's not just numbers. We know it's real people out there, and we appreciate it. We appreciate all the sponsors who support the show and make it possible for us to invest the time and have a team and have a studio. And we appreciate you guys who support our sponsors. We appreciate you guys supporting the guests. It's a really cool relationship, and we have a blast doing it. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Yeah, this was a fun year, but like you were saying, Cameron, the best is yet to come, as they say. I still have a lot of more phone book size books to transcribe.
You have some empty binders.
I'm dreading that portion, but I'm looking forward to recording that.
Well, I think that's how you get it into the Library of Congress, is that you have to submit it in binder form. So
yeah, they haven't been returning my calls, so I've got a feeling in the pit of my stomach that this has all been a huge waste of time. But I'm going to keep calling my congressman. Hopefully, I'm going straight to Trump on this one. I mean,
well, you can just tweet him.
A little excess.
Yeah, just tweet him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, and Chandler, it's been fun. You didn't wreck the show over the last 9 months, man.
Chandler, you've done a great job, dude. You deserve a lot of recognition for that, man. We've had, it's always smooth. It's always smooth with you.
What's
man.
the trophy? You got the MVP on a high school basketball team. You got the MVP. You got like best defense. You got Hustle Award maybe, and then you have the coaches award. The guy who shows up and tries his best. He's not the best player, but he's always there, and the coach wants to recognize him. Chandler,
he cleans up towels and stuff like that.
You win this year's coaches award, buddy. I didn't know, man. You started back in March, and you were just helping us out in transition after Jeremiah bailed on us.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, I can do a few weeks, sure. And then a few weeks turned into a couple months.
Look at you now.
And you're doing a great job. And
learned a lot. I appreciate the opportunity.
I frankly didn't know what it'd be like working with my brother, but I'm having a good time. So, all right, there you go.
Thanks.
2016, I'm going to remember racial injustice, Trump, and working with my brother.
Yep.
I remember all these phone books. I had to build a big shed out back. This shed alone cost me a bunch of money. I wish you had told me the transcriptions weren't necessary, because these things go for like 2 hours, and we talk really fast. So Oh boy. It's a fire hazard is what it is. It's a tinderbox waiting to go off out there.
Okay, if you've heard any of these best of episodes, you know what's about to happen. One of our favorite things to do is at the end of every episode, there's this little outtake of Jesse Carey from the show, something he actually said. And we splice them all together without context and without filter.
The way God intended.
So on that note, we'll wrap it and then just sit back and relax for the next 2 minutes. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Chandler Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
For Eddie Koffolds, Chelsea Steele, Rebecca Jo Flores, Aaron Hambury, Shauna Nyquist, Adam Smith, and Joy Egrich Reed, thank you for listening, everybody. It's been an awesome 2016. We'll see you next year.
What you be saying, girl, when you be trying to talk to me, I filter out the negative, yeah, that's my new philosophy, yeah, we got us, we got art, I got God, that's from the start, can't nobody touch my vision, man, I feel like Tony Stark, when popping out, yeah, I'm popping out, yeah, I'm popping out, yeah, I'm popping out.
Thanks for listening to The Relevant Podcast. Connect with us on Twitter @RelevantPodcast and get bonus material from this episode and more at the podcast section on RelevantMagazine.com. And don't forget to check the magazine out. It's available on newsstands and at the iTunes App Store, or you can subscribe online at RelevantMagazine.com/subscribe.
Popping out on you like here I am. To them lost boys, I'm like Peter Pan. OG, they like Heater Man, cause I'm classic like the Caesar fam. This real life, no makeup. When I write it down, you better know it. Caddy riding that new school and that school zone so ever slowly. This that new ocean away to swim. All in the room like an elephant. Magazine that up irrelevant. Gossip and rumors irrelevant. Stay away from those who telling it. I write down what I feel when I'm feeling it. Capital Records, the label we dealing with. Do you realize what you're dealing with? If you're all up in your feelings quick. You've been bought with a price, so you innocent. You're the son and daughters of the risen king. That's in the win on the winning team. This for them days we ain't have a thing. We write the songs that you have.
There's an important guy that's got business stuff going on in this theater. Hey, you want to turn up the heat on something? Play some sax. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally ingested a gold ring. I can imprison a person, put them on a drone, and fly them to my Eagle Air. All I need to be is 35 yards offshore. Just shut your mouth and eat the ice cream. My place in this world. At this point, I can't see Joy's dad, but I can feel the regret that he has. The car is perfect. They saw my sign spinning skills and were like, dude, that guy can do anything. Hire him immediately. Hey, look over there. Just uploaded some new pics onto MySpace and freshened up the top 8, so check it out. Anyway, I forgot the story I was telling. Jesse from Virginia Beach. Shame on you. Shame. Why is that baby roaming the street of the neighborhood of a known murderer? Get off my back. You're listening to Tube Talk, where we talk about tubes and the things that tubes can do for you. The more layers you pull back, the more it stinks. Skillet. It was Skillet. They play Skillet. He's like, why did he include 3 winking emojis with the question, you code? Hey, listen, I don't know how to tell you this. The house is haunted by ghost raccoons. Congratulations, everyone. You've really done something. Don't visit Shauna's attic. Live in Shauna's attic. I need a man killed, and I need him killed with a dagger from space. No questions, George. My name is Blackout. That is either some sort of animal dropping, or that's some really old butter. I got to taste this thing. What's this desk made out of? Paper mache? Ah! And then I drop it. Look, I'm sitting in a backwards chair. There's a Starbucks at my feet, which I will be periodically sipping from. How is this a sermon? It's not. It's a Bible. It's a Bible conversation, dude. Because they're cousins that don't know each other, but they are perfect for each other, but they're strangers. They're perfect strangers. Someone has this crazy manatee breeding scheme, and they don't even know how to tell the genders of these beasts. Big floss in the federal government have been feeding us nothing but a pack of lies for the last 35 years. Check this out, guys. Made another sweet mouse pad. Oh, this is terrible. These croutons are awful. Yeah, they call it the bottom ship because it looks like two blunt butt cheeks. I got bad news. The sausage is all gone because I ate that. Call me. I'm up to my eyes in goggles. The biggest celebrity in town right now is an actual lobster, so it's kind of a big deal. Billboard reports that Nick Jonas, who has 3 front teeth, has the #1 album in the country. Hey, I'll say this. One time I put a laser into a microscope and it was sweet. All I saw was red for 2 days.
What percentage of hot tub owners are deviants? You know, it'd be a great icebreaker. I don't know how much they're charging for this thing, but if you get your hands on Hezekiah's toilet. Yeah, the dome lights come on. Dome light check. So what do you say you don't want to pay $100,000 to get chickenfight.com back? Cameron, mine son didn't have any bristles left. I'm just rubbing my teeth with plastic at this point.
Here's me just blowing weird, like. Post-truth is a great nickname. You know, the irony of a line-sitting convention is no one ever gets in. They're all just waiting. Please, I'll do anything, officer. Please, any restitution. Just tell me. Turn it down. Ow! For the month of December, I will be camping amongst the inflatables in the yard to protect them. In the mascot, they're like, what do you want it to be? I don't know, a guy with a huge baseball head. I've been catfished so many times that I feel like the only way I can prevent it at this point is to start, boning up on the methods of some of these catfishers. So I watch a lot of that. You're telling me we're not releasing this in book form? I've wasted a tremendous amount of time.